Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm here today with my July 2020 book haul. So I'm going to talk about all of the books that I received and bought in the month of July. So I did get a couple for my birthday, which I am super excited about. So I'll talk about those in just a second. And then I hit up eBay. I did some eBay shopping this past month. And of course, I went to Second & Charles. So I have a ton of books yet again to talk about in a mix of middle grade, novelizations, Star Trek, Star Wars, you name it. It's probably in this stack here. So I'm super excited to show you guys what I picked up last month. So without further ado, let's dive right in. I have to admit that it feels like I picked up some of these books so long ago at this point, because I actually filmed my pickup video probably in sometime in the last week of June last month, because I was spreading them out over 4 days in 1 week. So I wanted to get them done. Because of that, I didn't show what I picked up at the end of June. So some of these I have been holding on to a little bit longer than normal. So either way, these are basically all July pickups. So what I'm going to start with are two books that I received for my birthday from my wife. So the first one I actually talked about in my, August TBR and TBW video. And that is The Forgotten Island, written by David Sodergren. So this is one that I have been wanting for a long time. I could have gotten it on Kindle for like $3, but there are this one and a handful of others that I've just hold it off on because I really want the physical version of these books. Because one, look at that cover. It looks really cool. And two, I've just heard so many good things about it. I would like to have it in the physical form to put on my shelf. So the first one that my wife got me for my birthday is The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren. And like I mentioned before, this is basically a group of people get stuck on an island and they are then attacked by these creatures. I hear, according to the back of the book here, it has some H.P. Lovecraft sensibilities to it. So it should be really fun. So I'm really excited to dive into this one, which I am going to start in the month of August. So check back for my August wrap up to hear what my thoughts are on The Forgotten Island by Dave Sodergren. Next up is one that I've wanted even longer than The Forgotten Island, and I am so happy to have this in my hands now, and that is the first in a trilogy now. It is Kill River, and this is written by Cameron Robeek. So this is supposed to be just a lot of fun, just like The Forgotten Island. Heard nothing but great things. Another one I could have gotten on Kindle for like $3, but I really want it in the physical form. So, and this one, like the other one, they're all like print on demand. They have this little and the sticker or barcode and information on the back. They're print on demand. So I don't know if that matters. I know like with the movie collecting world, like BDRs can be kind of something that people don't like. I don't know if that's the case with this, but I figured I'd point it out just in case. But anyway, this is basically a slasher book. So the summer of 1983, 13-year-old Cindy and her three newfound friends, Stacy, Zach, and Brad, decide to sneak away from their summer camp in the middle of the night by rafting down the nearby rivers, and they get stuck in the woods, and I'm guessing a dark figure stalks them from the shadows, picking them off one by one. So it is a stalker novel, or a stalker film, but put into novel form. So this is now, Kill River 3 just came out recently, so this is now a trilogy, and I'm hoping I enjoy this so I can move on to the next two. But Kill River by Cameron Robeek was the second book I received for my birthday this past month. So I'm counting this next book as my third and final birthday book because, as you can see, has the bookmark there. The local used bookstore I go to, as long as you're signed in through their computer system, then you get a free book in the month of your birthday. And so, of course, I was able to run in and grab a free book this past month. Now, when I was there, I didn't really find much that I was looking for. I was really kind of disappointed in the selection, but it's just kind of the way it is right now. So I decided instead to go to get a book that from a series that I've been collecting, and I actually don't have the first book in the Anita Blake series. Well, I didn't, but now I have fixed that. So I grabbed Guilty Pleasures by Laurel K. Hamilton. So I own book 2, 3, maybe even book 4, and then like some random book 11 or something in the series, because I've been finding them at thrift stores or back when this happened, the library book sale. So for some reason, I didn't own the first one. Actually, I think I did own it, but I ended up selling it, I don't know, not too terribly long ago, but before I realized I wanted to read these books. So I decided to grab this one since I couldn't find anything else. So now I own the first at least 3 or 4 books in the Anita Blake series. So that's the last book I grabbed thanks to my birthday this past month. This next book was one that I've been wanting for quite some time, ever since I heard about it, but it was not the cheapest, and for what it is, I wanted to pay a little bit less for it than I did. I ended up finding it on eBay. I didn't pay a ton for it, but it is a book that is just perfect for this channel. It is the movie tie-in book written by Mo Waddle. So this actually covers all movie tie-ins from when they started in 1939 all the way to 1980 with like select titles post 1980. This was actually published in 1994, it looks like. So this is one that is simply a list book. Like, let me show you a page here. So it just lists what books came out from that letter and then what year it came out. So like, for example, we have Diamonds Are Forever by Ian Fleming. And then it gives me the page count, who published it, the first year of its publication, and who wrote it. So if you're interested in finding novelizations and you don't want to use the internet, this is a way to do that. So is this book really necessary? No, of course it isn't, but it's something that I love collecting. I love doing movie tie-ins or novelizations, and so I figured this would be an awesome resource to have, even if it's just something that sits on my shelf. If I don't use it all the time, it's still really cool to have, and quite comprehensive from what I hear from at least, 1939 to 1980. So this is really cool. The other interesting thing about this book is it actually lists values for these paperbacks, which is really funny because, of course, this is from 1994. So I'm sure these are all out of whack at this point. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Like, I haven't spent a ton of time with it yet, but like, look at that. Gorgo, come on. I have that on DVD. That's awesome. So yeah, this is just a really cool book that I'm happy to have in my collection, given what my collection consists of. So the movie tie-in book written by Mo Waddle, something that most people aren't going to care about, but it hits me right in the feels. I love it. This book was one I actually didn't pay for. I found it at my parents' house in a box of books that was donated to them, which I think I had one last month like that too. But this is the 2-Minute Rule written by Robert Crace. So if you guys have been following the channel, you'll know that last month I read Hostage, written by Robert Crace, which is the original book for one of my favorite films that was adapted from that book. So I really enjoyed that one, and so I wanted to give this one a shot, and I figured, hey, it's free. It's sitting at my parents' house. They're not doing anything with it, so it might as well sit on my shelves, if nothing else. So the 2-Minute Rule written by Robert Crace. Okay, now we're into some of my eBay purchases, and the first one I grabbed was the official novelization to Spider-Man. So I think I showed it last month that I grabbed Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 on clearance from 2nd and Charles. So, of course, I had to have the first one in order to start this trilogy. So I grabbed Spider-Man, written by Peter David, and Peter David actually writes all 3 books in this Spider-Man trilogy. So one I'm very happy to add to the collection. This was kind of a weird buy because I already owned like 2 of the 3 books in this eBay lot, but there was one that I needed in order to complete a specific series that I'll talk about right now. And 2 of the other books that I showed, I think it was last month or the month before, they were really bad condition. So all 3 of these are in great condition. We have Star Trek, oh my gosh, I do this every time. We have Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I'm sorry, yes, Star Trek 4. And then we have Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier. And we have Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. So I believe it was 4 and 5 that I already owned previously. I'm dropping them. But the versions I owned were not in good condition at all. These are in like great condition. These look awesome. And I needed Star Trek 5 in order to finish my Star Trek film novelizations for the original 6 films. So now I have the entire Star Trek novelizations from, the first film all the way through the 6th film, and they are all in really good condition. So I got this lot for super cheap on eBay. They just came in great condition, so I was very happy with it. So Star Trek 4, 5, and 6 will wrap up my Star Wars original series novelization collection. Interestingly, I just looked it up. So Star Trek 4, 5, and 6 are listed in there, and their value is about $2 and $2.50 each. So that's pretty darn accurate, because I think that's what I paid for these, was about $2 and $2 to $2.50. When you take the total price and divide it by 3 after shipping and everything, I think that's what I paid, was about $2. So hey, Mo, you nailed it on those 3. So good job. The last Star Trek book I grabbed, I believe it was actually part of a buy 2, get 1 free sale on the eBay store I was shopping with a couple of the books I'm going to show you next, but it is Star Trek The Lost Years, written by J.M. Dillard. So this actually, I believe, takes place after the 5th film in the series and kind of bridges the gap in between the 5th film and maybe the 6th film, or just the events of the TV series. I honestly don't know for sure, but the whole point is what exactly happened to the crew of the USS Enterprise after the end of their 5-year mission. And so it's basically, what did everyone do after they left the USS Enterprise? So I've heard really good things about this one. And because of, the fact that I needed a third book in order to get it free, I decided to pick it up because it was one on my wish list. So Star Trek: The Lost Years, written by J.M. Dillard. These next 3 books actually represent a trilogy in the Star Wars film franchise, and 2 of these I actually bought with that Star Trek book for the buy 2 get 1, and then the third one I had to buy separate just to complete it. So I grabbed the Tales from series. So we have Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina, Tales from Jabba's Palace, and Tales of the Bounty Hunter. So I actually grabbed the Tales from the Bounty Hunter first because I found it in another like buy 2 get 1 lot, and then got Jabba's Palace and Tales from Mos Eisley. So these are short story anthologies that take place after episode 5, I believe, and before episode 6, which, if there are any Star Wars, fanatics down there that know a heck of a lot more than me, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's where these are set. So I want to check these out mostly for Boba Fett because I want to learn more about that character because I think he's really cool. So I want to learn more. So, the Tales from series. So we got Tales from Jabba's Place, Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina, and Tales of the Bounty Hunter. And I believe these are all edited by Kevin J. Anderson, but they have stories from a multitude of different authors that are famous for their work in the Star Wars franchise. And the last Star Wars book I grabbed, which is actually a nice bridge because I grabbed this one from Second and Charles, which is the rest of these books, or where the rest of these books are from. And that is another part of a trilogy. This is Star Wars: The Mandalorian Armor, and this is book 1 of the Bounty Hunter series. So again, that's the reason I bought it. Boba Fett. I want to learn more about this character. I've loved him from what the brief bits I've read about him in the 6th book and the 5th book. And so I want to know more. I really like the character and I just want to keep reading about him. So Star Wars: The Mandalorian Armor, which is book 1 of the Bounty Hunter series. And again, this is one I grabbed from Second and Charles. I actually have 2 more books that I grabbed outside of Second and Charles that I want to talk about first. I completely forgot. So the first one is Star Trek VI: The Voyage Home. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, why did you get that? You already have it. You showed it earlier. Why did you buy it a second time? Well, I actually purchased this one by mistake because if you'll take a look, this is not the novel that I showed earlier. This one is actually written by Peter Larangis, and it is part of the Just for Boys series, I don't know, but it is actually the middle grade, what would be the middle grade version of Star Trek VI: The Voyage Home. So it's essentially like a junior novelization, like I've been purchasing for the Star Wars films. It's a junior novelization for the Star Trek movies, which I do actually have another one of these that I'm going to talk about in just a minute, because after I realized these existed, I was at Second and Charles and found another one. So of course I grabbed that, but completely bought this one by mistake, but it fits my collection perfectly, so of course I'm not going to try to return it or anything. It was totally my mistake. The original novel, or the full-length novel, is written by somebody else, which I didn't notice, and so it was my fault. Should have realized it. Should have done more research, but I didn't. And it's an interesting one because it's a hardcover, which is just weird. But yeah, so just a really strange oddity for my collection. Star Trek VI: The Voyage Home, what is essentially the junior novelization of that film, or a middle grade version of that film. This next one, I'm actually really disappointed in myself because I bought it on release day with the full intention of having read it and a full review up within the week. Unfortunately, as I've talked about many times, and I promise I'll stop talking about it, but I had a certification that I was trying to pass, and so that kind of took over my reading, so I didn't get to it. But this is the brand new Disney Chills series, and this is Part of Your Nightmare, written by Vera Strange. So if you have not heard of these are right up my alley. They are basically Disney stories, but set in a Goosebumps-like world. So this one, obviously, takes place in the world of The Little Mermaid, but it's done in a Goosebumps style. So it's a middle grade book, as you can tell from the font size and page count. So it's a middle grade book, but it's like Disney meets Goosebumps. I mean, come on. That sounds freaking awesome. So I'm super excited to read this one. My buddy actually bought it when it came out as well. He read it, gave it, I think, like 4 out of 5 stars, really liked it. So I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy it. I cannot wait. They've announced 3 of these so far, and this is just the first one. I think the next one comes out maybe in August or maybe September. I don't remember exactly when, but I will be pre-ordering that, assuming I like this one, which this is another one I wish I would have added to my August TBR. So if I can get to it, I I want to, and hopefully I will, but we'll see how where the month takes us. But anyway, Disney Chills. This is book number 1, as you can see from the spine, Part of Your Nightmare, written by Vera Strange. So the rest of these books were from Second and Charles. Many of them were found in the clearance section, which is always fun. So that means I paid like $1 for them. And then I do have a full, huge stack of middle grade books that were buy 2, get 1 free. That was probably my coolest find in this haul. And so I'm saving that one for last. But first one I want to talk about is the middle grade novel, or the junior novelization I hinted at earlier. And that is Star Trek Generations, written by John Vornholt. So as I mentioned, this is the middle grade version of it, or what would be the junior novelization of the film Star Trek Generations. Now, I have not started purchasing any of the novelizations for the Star Trek Next Generation films at all, but I figured because this was only this actually might have been 50 cents in the clearance bin. So I figured, hey, I know these exist now. I might as well pick it up since I own, the 6th movie. Why not? So I grabbed Star Trek Generations, and this, of course, is the junior novelization of that film, written by John Vornholt. This next one is technically not a junior novelization. It is a novelization that is intended for a middle grade audience because of the film being aimed at that same audience. So we have Catch That Kid, and this was written by Suzanne Wayne, adapted from the screenplay by Michael Brandt and Derek Haas. So I have actually never seen Catch That Kid, so I don't really know anything about the film. It looks like a children's spy film of some sort, but it has Kristen Stewart in it, so I mean, that's fun. Yeah, I don't know too much about it other than it was in the clearance bin, and it was a novelization of the middle grade variety, so I wanted to pick it up. So Catch That Kid, written by Suzanne Wayne. This next book is interesting only because of the fact that it looks differently than any other books I've seen in this series, and that is Fear Street Super Chiller. The book is called Silent Night, written by R.L. Stine. So this one is actually trade paperback size. So if you compare it to a mass market paper book, you'll see that it is bigger in size. If you don't know what a trade paperback is, which I'm sure you do, but regardless, I've never seen the Fear Street series in this size of a book before. I've only seen them in the standard, mass market paperback. And it looks like this is actually like a second printing of it. This is the first Simon Pulse edition from September 2003. It was originally released as a paperback from Archway Paperback in 1991. So I guess that's why this is different, just so it stands out a little bit. But yeah, this looks really odd and cool, and it's a Fear Street book, so I wanted to have it in my collection. I used to love the Fear Street books as a kid, but I ended up getting rid of all of them. I know. As I got older, I'd love to have those back in my collection at some point. So this is a good place to start since it was so cheap, and I happened to just stumble across it while I was at the store. So Silent Night, written by R.L. Stine, which is part of the Fear Street Super Chiller series. Another middle grade novelization, we have Goosebumps movie novel. This one does not have R.L. Stine on here. I'm sure he didn't write it. It was probably it actually doesn't even have the author. It just says edited and introduced by R.L. Stine, and then based on the screenplay by so-and-so. So I don't know. That's weird. I don't know actually who wrote this book then at that point. But, I think I own the second one in this series. The one that's based off the second film. I think I talked about that last month. So I found this one in Second and Charles, so I decided to get it. And again, it was part of this buy 2, get 1 free sale that they had going on for all middle grade paperbacks. So I wanted to pick it up. So Goosebumps movie novel. Next up is another Goosebumps book to add to my collection. We have The Curse of Camp Cold Lake. And this is spine... Oh, geez. Of course, it doesn't have the spine number on it. I think this is one of the later ones, though. I can't believe it didn't have a spine number. I didn't even notice that. I don't know what number it is, but it's one of the later ones in the Goosebumps series. So one I didn't have in my collection and was in really great shape, so I picked it up. The Curse of Camp Cold Lake, written by R.L. Stine. Recently, I was talking about this with my buddy, how I used to love collecting the Strange Matter books, but I didn't have any, and I'd never see them at thrift stores. So I happened to be at Second and Charles, and they had one, so I grabbed the one that they had, and this is the last one in, and these are all written by Angle and Barnes. So this is number 5 in the Strange Matter universe. So there are somewhere around 30-ish of these. So I have a ton to go if I want to collect the whole thing, which I'm sure I won't. It'll just be ones if I see them at the store, I'll pick them up, but nothing I would be actively seeking out because they're not cheap on eBay. They're, about $5 a book, which, when I find these in store, I'm paying usually $1 or $2 for them. If I find them at the thrift store, I'm paying 50 cents, which is much more up my alley than $5 for, one of these books. So anyway, the covers on these are awesome. This one is okay. It's, it has that same style as the Strange Matter books, but it's not one of my favorite covers, but it looks okay. So Strange Matter, the last one in, which is book number 5 of the Strange Matter series written by Engel and Barnes. Getting to the end here, I only have one more stack of books to show you, and I'm going to go through them rapid fire because they are all part of the same series. So prior to this video, I only owned one book in the Ghosts of Fear Street series by R.L. Stine. Now I own a big ol' stack of them, which is just awesome. Unfortunately, they are kind of like random throughout. There are some runs, like, you have like 5, 6, 7 or something. But a lot of them are just, random throughout the middle of the series. That said, this is like a 30-something book series. I know the last book that's listed on Goodreads was never actually released, according to what my buddy's telling me, who is basically an R.L. Stine expert, so I'm going to believe him. But the rest of them have been released. Unfortunately, the last handful of them are super expensive and very hard to find. So I don't know how, realistic it is that I'll complete this series, but if I find them when I'm out and about, I'm going to pick them up. So I'm going to talk through these as quickly as I can just to kind of wrap up the video here. Let me say one more thing before I talk about which ones I got, and that is the fact that this book series is credited to R.L. Stine, but they were actually all ghostwritten, all 30 whatever of them. They were all ghostwritten, so not any of these were actually written by Stine himself, which is pretty interesting. So I'm sure they're going to be pretty, hit and miss on quality, but, I love the covers. They look awesome, as you'll see as we go through this, and it's something credited to R.L. Stine, so it's something I'm interested in. So let's talk about which ones I grabbed after Eye of the Fortune Teller, which was book number 6 in the Ghosts of Fear Street series. Then we have Fright Night, which is book number 7. The Ooze, book number 8. The Boy Who Ate Fear Street, which is book number 11. That cover is fantastic. And then we have Fright Christmas, which is book number 15 in the series. Another really cool cover. Don't Ever Get Sick at Granny's. Good advice, I guess. Book number 16. The Creature from Club Lagoon, which is book number 21. Another just awesome cover. And then we have Monster Dog, which was book number 24. And then we have a little bit of a change in cover style here. This is book number 26. Go to Your Tomb Right Now. Book number 27, Parents from the 13th Dimension, which has a significantly different style cover to it. Oh, and then again, we go into a whole new cover style here with book number 28. This is Hide and Shriek 2. Unfortunately, I don't own the original Hide and Shriek, but hopefully someday I will. So you can see these are very different covers that are not nearly as cool as the others, but it is what it is. We have book number 29, which is called The Tale of the Blue Monkey. And then we have book number 30, which is I Was a 6th Grade Zombie. Really strange cover. Book number 31 is Escape of the He-Beast. And then last but not least, we have book number 32 of the Ghosts of Fear Street series with just this god-awful cover. This is called The Terror is Building. Or maybe, no, it's called Caution Aliens at Work. Terror is Building is down here. The title's called Caution Aliens at Work. But my goodness, look at how ugly that cover is. Some of these later ones just get so ugly with this like computer animated CGI style, which I just don't like. But these more, the earlier ones, those are awesome. That is my style. So I don't know why they decided to change it. But so yes, here are all of my Ghosts of Fear Street books now. I think I own like book number 1 also, potentially. So yeah, I grabbed a bunch of Ghosts of Fear Street series. And what was cool is these were all like $1.50 to $1.75, I think, max. And then they were all buy 2, get 1 free. So I paid very little for all of these, which is awesome. Anytime I can find, R.L. Stine books or Fear Street or Goosebumps, and I pay a very little price, I'm going to grab them. So that's my whole stack of Ghosts of Fear Street series, which wraps up all the books I grabbed this past month. So if not all of them, but it is a good portion of what I picked up this past month in my book shopping. So between my birthday, Second and Charles, and eBay, it was a really fun, really productive book purchasing month. So super excited to have all these in my collection now and can't wait to dive in to some of these as the months go on here. So thank you guys for watching this video. Please let me know down in the comments below, what did you pick up this past month in the world of books, media, anything? Let me know down in the comments below. I do have a movie haul or a media haul coming because I do have video games and movies to talk about, so they'll see that probably later on this week. As always, if you guys like this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube, and if not, thank you anyway for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.